All right. Let's
Okay.
take down this mane. All right. So what are we thinking of doing today? We definitely need a trim.
Definitely a trim. I really like my cut. But yes, I do. It just all needs to kind of be brought up a little bit.
Yeah.
I really like my length. So maybe only like that much off.
Yeah. I honestly feel like for a healthy trim, just to get like those split ends and everything, I would do like that much.
Okay.
You know, because it's still going to be very long. Like, look how long that is still.
Yeah.
Right? And then do the long layers throughout, or do you want to take your layers a little bit shorter than we did last time?
Well,
because you wear your hair like very bouncy.
I wear it down and I like low maintenance.
Yeah. Because the layers help give you a lot more movement.
But I also don't want my ends to get too light.
Yes.
You know, I like the weight.
You don't want them so see-through.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, I like this kind of ratio where like my layers are kind of blended, but just like all lifted up. So like,
so we'll keep your layers how we've been doing them then. And I'm just going to take the same amount of length that I take off your ends off of the layers then.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. But then for my face framing, I'm thinking maybe even like a little bit more. Just like
I agree.
Slightly bit shorter.
Because when you wear your hair down, you just have these long pieces that kind of hang down.
Yeah.
Right? So in order to wear your hair like how I am wearing it, like if you want those, you're going to take, we got to take these pieces up a little bit shorter.
Yes.
But I don't think you would like it as short as where like mine are per se.
No, I think like right underneath my chin.
Where it's like, so when it's blown out, it's like tucking underneath your chin.
Yeah. And as a teacher, like I always wear my hair up.
Right.
And I like to have a few pieces out around my face.
But this is just, it looks like you have like a lob going on when you have it up like that. So yeah, no, I definitely agree. Take these pieces, to have them just hug underneath your chin and then blend it into the sides. And that way too, I like your hair after all these years of cutting it. I like it when your hair goes into a U shape.
Me too.
Right? Because it's softer on you than being square and blunt.
Yep. And the V
makes you look like a horse's tail on your hair.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
By doing the heavier face framing too, that's going to help give you that U shape.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
But I still want it to be, I don't want a heavy, chunky frame. Like I like super blendy.
Like my signature, my butterfly haircut.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do that. And then what are we thinking for color? All your pictures are very coppery that you've showed me.
Yes.
Let's pull those pictures back up.
So I really like that kind of tone.
Yeah.
Which like right now my hair is kind of more gold. And that's like a little bit more coppery, like you said.
Yeah.
But I also love like these bright, like apricot-y tones. Like golden doodle.
You want like some, the golden doodle.
I want golden doodle
pops.
Golden doodle pops around my face. And I don't want my base to be much
too blonde.
Darker. I like the brightness though, but that's like a little too like creamy.
Yes.
I really liked that too.
Yeah.
But with like, and I really liked that bright.
A lot.
I like that tone.
That's kind of like what I'm
in between like the full blown copper and what I have now. And it's like kind of at like the same like tone.
Yeah. And that's why like when I look at this, I'm seeing so much dimension. That's why I was telling you about warming up your base. Not with a permanent color or anything, taking a glaze and just adding some red tones that matches your natural level.
Yeah.
And just to warm you up. And it'll just slowly fade out over a course of 6 weeks.
I need something low maintenance, live-inable. And
exactly. And then I want to go through and I'm going to do like a balayage and just give you pops of brightness throughout your hair.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
More so in the front. I feel like. Right around my face is where I need.
Looking at you too, you have so much depth right in here that I feel like just needs to be broken up. Like, do you see how dark that panel is right there? I just want to bring it up and feather it up a little bit. Just pop
all of the previous lightening that you've done, it's kind of grown out.
It's so grown out because I haven't lightened your hair in probably a good 6-ish months, I want to say.
Yeah, you did like a little peaky light a while ago.
You just did your face framing.
That.
And then I think we need to do Yeah, we like the peak. We did them right here, which I think we need to do that again, like brighten you up a little bit higher around that money piece, like those photos show, just to brighten you and keep you light, but keep the dimension going. And I almost want to just run like a low light, which is just matching your natural base, but adding some more warmth through the ends, like little pops, nothing crazy. And then what we'll do is I'm going to highlight you first, do the balayage on you, and just put a couple little low lights through, nothing crazy. And then we'll come back and we'll tone you. I'll put a root smudge on. And that will also help keep that balayage super blendy as well, more lived in for you.
Perfect.
As well.
And that root tap or the root tap will blend into my natural
your natural grow out, low maintenance. It'll just slowly fade. So I'm not going to make it any darker than your natural base. All it is just warming up your natural base to match those photos.
And then what will aftercare look like for my hair?
Aftercare is just, just a good shampoo, conditioner. I recommend the K18 Damage Shield shampoo and conditioner because it's color safe, can be used every single day because you are a frequent washer.
Yes.
So you need something with a low pH so you're not blowing up in your hair cuticle and allowing that color to fade out. But I'm also going to do the K18 repair service with you, and then we're going to do the coat color locking system as well on top of the K18. And then, so you'll be good to go. That will help last your color for 40 washes.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
I was going to say I might need a color depositing, but
I know.
That
no, I don't think you're going to need those color depositing masks. I know you have some. If you feel like you need a little refresh, you could totally do it. No problem.
But if that lasts 40 washes, that will last me until my next appointment.
Yes.
So
perfect. All right. So we're going to do the K18 repair service on her hair. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split her hair into 4 quadrants. And so the K18 repair is going to protect and defend her hair before we even start the lightening service. So by splitting the hair into 4 quadrants, it's going to allow me to evenly apply the molecular repair hair mist. Because she's got a lot of hair. And now the first step that you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to gently mist the hair with a little bit of water. And the reason why we do this is because the hair is like a sponge. So when you go in with a little bit of water, it's going to gently open up the cuticle, and that's going to allow the molecular repair mist to go in and penetrate. Because the hair is like a sponge, you think of it. If you had a dry sponge and you go to put dish soap on it to go do your dishes, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to emulsify the soap or anything like that. It's just going to push that soap around on the dirty pan. So our hair is the same way. It's not going to absorb the molecular repair mist if the cuticle is not open from that slightly dampness of the hair. And nothing crazy, just like you were caught in a light mist outside, like a fountain was going off and then a breeze came through and you get that light little mist in your hair. That's what we're thinking for the molecular repair mist. So just go in, gently mist the hair with a little bit of water. All right, so now we have that. We're going to go in, we're going to do the molecular repair mist. So you're going to use 10 to 20 sprays per quadrant depending on length and density of the hair. Now for her, I'm going to have to use more than the 20 sprays per quadrant just because of how much length and density that she does have. And that's totally okay. More is more when it comes to the molecular repair mist. So I like to go in and just make sure it's evenly saturated. And I like to take sections while I'm doing this. Because if you were to just take that hair and just like spritz like, okay, we're just going to do 10 sprays, you're not going in and you're not saturating that hair underneath. So it's very important that we do section the hair while we're doing this. And because we're balayaging her, I'm going to primarily focus my mist here on those mids and ends of her. So what's great about the K18 repair mist is that it is fully customizable. I am going to do a couple extra spritz down here. So I'm going to do this working way through the entire head of the hair. So the K18 molecular repair mist is going to go in and it's going to fortify and strengthen the hair prior to your chemical services. So it's going to restore 99% elasticity back into the hair, and that's before we even start applying any lightener. It's also clinically proven that your color will last longer and fade slower when using the K18 molecular repair service. So again, just going in, just hitting those ends with a couple extra spritz. And I actually love having it on the wetter side when balayaging because it makes it much easier to blend doing a wet balayage, in my opinion.
Oh gosh, this spray smells so good.
It does smell really good. Very florally and light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the number one comment. Everybody's like, oh, it smells good. Keep putting it in my hair. Come down to the end of my bottle here too. I got more. Always prepared. And when I'm doing each section too, I like to make sure I'm misting it going down, but then I'll also mist the underneath of this next section I'm about to bring down. Just make sure everything's being coated. And your sectioning, again, is going to depend on length and density of the hair. And again, just a couple extra mists down here towards the bottom. And then I like to go through and just brush it. Make sure it's evenly distributed throughout the hair. And it's very important that we're going to let this sit for 4 minutes before we start any of our services. So K18 needs those 4 minutes for the peptide to go into the innermost layer of the hair and to do its thing and work. So it takes that 4-minute delivery system. So while this is processing, I'm going to go and mix up her color. Okay, so for her hair, I'm going to mix up 3 separate formulas right now to do the start of the process. So first I'm going to use, it's going to be the Blonde Max Matrix with 20 volume. This is going to be for the main part of her foilage. I'm not a big fan of open air processing balayage. I prefer to keep everything like in a foil because I feel like it allows it to process more evenly and I have more full control of the situation versus an open air balayage because temperatures regulate everything. So this way it just gives me full control. I know it's fully saturated and it's going to do its thing in the foil, but it's still going to be TZ balayage-esque, but just processing in a foil. So I'm going to use that with 20 volume for her ends because she's already pretty light. She's like at 8.5 on her ends. I just want to break up some of that old product that's on there. There could be some metals and minerals in there. This is why we do the K18 repair to keep the hair safe. I'm going to go in with the Joico balayage lightner because it's very gentle, very light with some 6 volume. And that's just to help break up any of that old product and just keep those ends nice and bright because I don't want to put 20 volume going all the way down on those ends. And then I'm going to do a mix of 8WG with a little bit of the new Honeycomb 6HC from Shades EQ. I'm mostly going to do the 8 on her because she is worried about being too dark. So I'd rather it be a little bit too light than too dark. Mixing these will get us a perfect level 7 for her hair. It'll be really pretty, nice, warm, and then we'll do a pretty apricot glaze and I'll deepen her base a little bit, make her base a little bit more reddish after we do the highlights and everything. So I'm going to mix that up. All right, so I've sectioned off her hair. From the top of her hair where the comb left her head, at the parietal ridge, I went through and separated. So for her, that was just behind her ear. So now I'm left with the back of her hair and then those two front quadrants right here. So what I'm going to do is, she wants it very natural, very loose, very lived in. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to take 2 diagonal sections in the back, and we're going to make almost like an inverse triangle back here. Okay, just like this. And we're going to clip her up. Make sure my sections are nice and even as well. There we go. And she's got a lot of hair. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tease her hair first. And this is going to help give us a nice, blendy, diffused line. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to weave this tease that we just did. So this is going to give us the ultimate feathering and diffusion for her hair. So then that's how much I'm going to take and put in a foil. So I'm going to come around. Make sure I'm in shot. And I'm going to use a board to do this, just so I can make sure I have good, even saturation. And then got my 2 different formulas here. So this is going to be for her mids and for her hair. And take this board and lay that hair right on top like that. Just like that. And I'm going to use the paintbrush brush from Fremar and just paint that on. And then I'm going to take that brush and I want to flick it going upwards into the hair. And that's what's going to give us that nice, super diffused look. Now she's really dark on her underneath here. So I'm going to take that 20 volume and run it all the way through the ends because of how dark she is right here.
I think the sun lightens my roots.
That and the last foil you had too, they I don't think they did a full, because I didn't do one of your foils at one time because I was like traveling or something. So just like that, I'm gonna put it into a nice like little sandwich. So just like that, and I'm going to go to the other side and do the same exact thing. So I'm going to pick up that whole section and just gently tease it. Just like that. Now I'm going to weave this. And that's everything that we're going to foil. I am going to take this light piece out because it's already light. And I just want to focus on all of this depth and darkness that she's got going in. So I don't rip a foil. So again, I'm just going to take it and just flick that up. Get that nice, soft, diffused line. And then work it down. Okay. So I am going to take a little bit of a thinner section directly above this. And we're going to put a low light right on top. So that's going to help build dimension and depth into her hair. And because we're going to paint a root on her, I'm not going to worry about going up too close to her root. I'm just mostly focusing on these ends. And you can see like she kind of has the start of some highlights here. So I'm just going to take a loose weave. And that's what I love about lived-in looks too, is it does not have to be absolutely perfect. And I'm just going to take a foil, just slide it right under. And we're going to paint this a little light. And just feather it up. She's got a couple light pieces right there.
I love the smell of that.
I know. Shades does smell really good. I give them credit for that. It's going to look so pretty. I just want to make sure I'm fully saturating the hair. We don't want any splotches or anything like that. Again, just slightly just feathering just to help keep it blendy. And then put it into a nice little pocket or a little basket. Just like that. All right, we'll go on this other side. And just weaving that. You can see she's got a few like little light pieces in there. So it's just going to help give her more depth, and it's going to make those new fresh highlights that we just put in her hair pop even more. And just feather that up into her natural base. So it's not going to make her natural base any darker or anything like that. It's just going to warm it up for her. And it's going to make these little few highlight pieces just pop. Look very natural, very lived in, like she was on the yacht all weekend in Miami.
A vibe.
It's such a vibe. Okay. So I do want to make sure I am leaving enough of her natural hair in as well to help keep that dimension going for her, keep that lived in look. Because I don't want to put every single hair in a foil and then she's got to be in here in 6 weeks. So I want to make sure that we are leaving enough hair in between. It goes against my brain of 600 foils. So I'm one of those stylists who loves to do 600 foils in a hair. But it's actually a good thing that we're not doing the 600 foils on her because my back would be broken. Just like this. And then as I'm sectioning and doing my triangle placements, diagonal placements, I'm making sure it's going along with the curvature of her head as well. So your sectioning and your placements are all going to depend based off your client's length, density, size of her head. So I'm not going to grab and tease this whole section, but I'm going to like just split it in half like that. Because I want to make sure I am leaving a lot of her natural out as well. Okay, now this section, what I'm going to do, go in, tease, work our way up. Now, I'm going to weave this. Now you can see here we have some highlights starting in her hair. So now I'm going to have to switch up the formulas. So I don't think... We'll be good. All right. So this is our 20 volume. I'm going to start right here at her midsection where she's very dark. This is her natural hair. Making sure I am fully saturating that. Then I'm going to take my brush. We're going to flick up. To help diffuse that line. And then work it down. Now you can see right there is where she is very, very light. So I'm going to focus just on the dark first. Making sure it's fully saturated, nice and blendy. I like to sometimes go in like an X motion just to make sure I got that hair saturated. And now I'm going to take my 6 volume mixture and just hit those ends. Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a half fold first over that 6 volume and then fold the rest up into her hair. Like this. And then I'm going to repeat on the other side. Okay, so now I'm coming up to the crown of her hair. I'm going to start taking horizontal sections. So I'm going to do another low light right here to help keep that depth going. I'm just going to loosely weave this section. Just like that. And then we're gonna low light this through all the way down. And I can already tell, like, this is gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited to see this. Ooh. There we go. All right, so I'm going to keep going horizontally up. All right, so I am going to tease this. Just like that. And then I'm going to weave this again. So same as we were doing on the diagonal down below, and do it up high as well. Again, I'm going in like a crisscross X mode on those dark bits just to make sure I am fully saturating. To help blend and feather up, I do like to pull on those ends, keep it nice, tight tension, and feather upwards. I am going to take an extra foil here, place directly under there. Re-hit those little pieces here. And now we're going to do that 6 volume through those ends. And that's just going to, again, it's just going to keep it nice, light, pop it. Okay, and then I'm going to fold up to that first bit where we did the balayage lightner, the 6 volume. Want to fold that in on itself first, and then you can fold the rest of the hair. Just like that. And now up here, I am going to keep it lighter. So I'm going to keep doing the highlights working up. I'm not going to put any more low lights in for this back section.
Oh, I could smell the K18 in my hair there.
Okay. So again, tease it.
How are you?
Tease, weave, separate that hair. And then all right. So again, on these dark pieces, going in with that 20 volume developer, blend that up into that tease, and we can see where she's dark. I'm gonna pull that through, leaving those blonde ends out for the other formulation. So for those ends, I'm going to put another foil in. And we're going to take that, run her through. So I'm going to fold the foil up to where we did the balayage formula, and then fold it up. Just like that. And we can see too is what we're doing as we're working up the hair is we're creating this veil that's going to fall over the back of her head. You know, in looking at this, because I'm going to have like a little tiny extra little section, I think what I'm going to do is I actually am going to pop a little low light in. Just because she doesn't want to be too light. So it's very important while we're working on the way up of the hair, we're taking into consideration where everything is lying, where it's falling, and what do we need? Do we need light or do we need dark? Right? So I'm going to take this, cut this little section here in half, and then I'm going to do a low light. Let's get another clip this little piece out of the way because I am going to do a highlight on this piece. Just take a loose little weave. Again, the reason why I'm doing this is because as I'm working my way up the hair, I'm looking and I'm seeing this existing lightness that she's got in here. So if I keep working highlights going up the back here, it's going to start getting really light. Whereas by adding this little low light in here, it's going to go in and it's going to help diffuse and break up all that lightness. And I'm going to apply this just like how I was applying everything else. Just on the ends, just feathering it into her base just a little bit. And working our way down. Just like that. And then also the reason why I am teasing first and then weaving is because if I were to weave this first and then tease, you're still going to get the pretty blended results, but it's not going to be as heavy of a section. And with her density, I need to have more of an impact. So that's why I'm doing the tease first. So that way we have a little bit of a thicker section, a little bit higher impact, so it doesn't get lost within her density of her hair. Because homegirl's got a lot of hair here.
Good problem to have.
Good problem to have, indeed. So just like that. And then as I'm working up the hair too, I'm not going to go as high because I don't want to get it too close to her scalp. Because she doesn't want like highlights out of the root. We want it more natural, lived in. Just like that. Feather, feather, feather. Blend, blend, blend. I feel like there needs to be like a TikTok vocal stem on this. Feather, feather, feather. Blend, blend, blend. Maybe I'll start it. Who knows? Again, I'm going to hold that hair at that bottom nice and taut with lots of tension and just kind of hit that hair in an X just to make sure it is all saturated for her. And then make sure it's nice, feathered, blended up here at the root. I'm going to take another foil, place this directly underneath, and then we're going to run that lightener through the ends, get it nice and bright for her. So she'll have nice bright pops on her ends, like little peaks. Because I'm going to leave, I'll show you here in a second. Just going to fold that foil right at that balayage formula and then fold the rest up. Because I'm not going to touch any of this hair that I've left out of the foil. I'm going to leave that because it's going to give her multiple different variations of that apricot tone that she is looking for, because every single photo she showed me is super blendy, very natural, very lived in. So I don't want to make her overly blonde by tipping out these ends here. So by doing those little peaks inside the foils where she was already naturally light and just brightening those little bits up is going to give her enough pop without being too much. So last little bit. Again, I want to just tease this. And then I have a great trick I can't wait to show you guys when it comes to brushing out this tease without being painful. All right, so there's our section. Again, I'm going to weave this. And then this is her top piece. So this is the veil that everybody's going to see. So we want to make sure we really saturate this and we get it nice and super, super blendy for her. Just like that. Again, go back and forth with that X hatching. Just make sure it is super, super saturated. And take another foil, and we're going to tip out these ends. right, so there is her back section completed. Okay, so now we're going to start with her front sectioning here. So you see, we still have quite a bit of hair in here. It's not as much density as we had in the back. I'm going to do her face framing first. I want to establish that first for her. And she doesn't want like a crazy big pop of a money piece, but we still want to get this up slightly higher than the rest of the foils that we're doing, just so she does have that full impact, okay? So I'm going to section off this hair. I like to start with the horizontal section at the ear, going towards her face, kind of like keeping like that natural curvature of her hairline here. So I'm going to do this mount first, looking at it. And I'm just going to take a very loose little weave. This time I am going to weave first and then tease. Like that. And then I need a smaller foil. Just slide that under. Make sure that tease is up and out of the way. And then place. And she is very light around the hairline, so I'm not even going to touch that with any extra lightener or anything like that. Just like that. Okay, and I'm going to work this going directly behind. Just like that. So I can see I'm only going to do one more highlight here before I get to this front piece above her temples for her money piece. So everybody's money piece and the amount of foils that you put in is all going to depend on their face shape, their hairline, how much density that they have around there. So again, I'm going to weave and then tease for this. And this just keeps it super soft, super diffused, very natural, but it still gives her that pop that she desires. And again, she is very naturally lighter right here around her hairline. So I don't have to put much lightener, just in a few spots. But as you can see, she's so light, it's translucent against the foil. So we want to make sure we do not touch that in the foil. All right, so now as you can see where that section was, it's connecting to this area right above her temples. So I'm going to take that whole section here. Just like that. Same, keeping it nice, light, loose. And this one I am going to use a big foil for because we've got a bigger section. Grab the hair that is not in the tease here. And I'm going to do a nice loose weave again. Very small, tiny little weave. Just like that. So I'm grabbing more hair that's up here because we have not highlighted this money piece section yet. And I'm going to tease. Just like that. So when you look at this too, she has less density right here where her temple is, which is very natural. So you don't need to have a lot of hair right there than she does like right here behind her ear. And that's just natural with everybody's curvature of their head. And don't be afraid to get the foil in your client's face. You got to do your job. Put a little pressure on their face either. Because again, they want their highlights looking perfect. So don't be scared. Just go in and get in there.
I actually love the feeling of the cold bleach through the foil against my face.
I love that too, to be honest with you. Some people don't. I do.
I think it's so satisfying.
So yeah, don't be afraid. Again, I'm leaving out all those little bits that are nice and light and bright. And I'm going to do a smaller fold up here so it's not like hanging out in her eyes. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more highlight, and I'm going to take a smaller section directly above to connect her money piece with her hairline here, and then we're going to do a low light after. And then when we start doing her low light too, I'll show you, we're going to work up the head of the hair in a different angle. So again, I want to do one more money piece foil right here, small little section, weave, and then we're going to tease. And again, because it's a bigger section, I'm going to take the bigger foil. Just like that. And I'm not going to go as high up as the other ones because as we're working away from the hairline, we want to go a little bit further back and a little bit more diffused. And we are doing the root smudge on her as well, like the root tap. So that's going to help diffuse this line even more for her as well. I'm leaving out those light ends that are already existing because this is where she gets her most highlights. She'll do like little minis in between. Like I've never done a full highlight on you.
No.
Personally. I've had to fix a full highlight on you, but I've never done a full highlight on you. So I'm going to take another little mini section directly behind that, her foils, her money piece foils, and I'm going to do a low light right here, and that's going to help give you maximum impact of those money pieces. It's going to give it more depth. And I'm going to weave that. Just like that. And again, I'm going to use another big foil. And I'm not worried about weaving this or anything like that because, again, it's the same color as her natural. So it's just going to blend up, and we're putting that root on. And make sure too your client is comfortable. There's no hairs like in their eyes, no foils sticking into their eyes or anything else like that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is start working up the hair, and I'm going to start pivoting up to her hairline here. And I'm taking big sections too. So it's not going to be very many foils that we're putting in here. And for this, we're going to tease first, and then we're going to weave. Again, we want maximum impact with the least amount of foils. I'm going to work that down to those pockets of dark. Leaving out those light ends, feather upwards. Make sure I'm hitting that with that cross hatch. And then, I don't think it's in the camera shot, but tip out these ends. Just like that. Okay, so directly above this, I'm going to put another low light. Pivoting. And this is going to be a tiny little section too. Because I want that depth to lay over these bright pieces that I'm building interior-wise for her. Loose weave it. And then this hair naturally just fell out, and I'm actually going to leave that hair that just fell out of my section because we have that low light directly underneath it to break up that base framing. So this is more focusing where I'm building these pockets of depth. All right, and we're going to do 2 more highlights here. And for this, again, I'm going to tease it. And then we're going to weave.
You've been through enough. You don't want to go crazy.
So again, you see we have all these pockets of depth. That's her natural. And then we have those light ends that will tip out.
Oh. I thought that was something on social media. I thought you were asking about a store or something like that. Like rent to own or something. And that woman was right at you. Okay?
Okay, so for this top section, what I'm going to do is I am going to weave it and then tease it just to keep it a little bit softer for the top. Keeping up with that cross hatching. This is going to help really make sure we are fully saturating it. Don't be afraid to get that brush up in there. And then tip out those ends. All right, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go on the other side. I'm going to repeat exactly what I just did on this side on the opposite side. And then we're going to come back after I do that. Okay, so I just rinsed out her back foils. They look so pretty, so blendy. But now we have this issue of this tease where I had to create to diffuse that line. So I'm not going to shampoo this yet. All I did was rinse it down, rinse out the lightener, rinse out that low light that we put through. And I'm going to put conditioner on first. I'm using the Damage Shield from K18. And I'm just going to apply this on and we're going to brush out this tease. So once you shampoo the hair, you're going to lock that tease in. So it's very important that we don't shampoo this yet. So I make sure that that lightener was all rinsed out. And then we're going to go through and I'm going to brush and detangle her hair now. And then we're going to do this while those front pieces are processing. So by the time we finish this, we can start working through each side of her hair. All right, so I'm actually going to forgo doing a root tap on her because when I was brushing out her tease, it is so blendy and so pretty. And I think it's going to look perfect without a root smudge, honestly, and just keep her natural base. And her low light I did on her throughout is actually identical to her natural root that I did. So I'm not going to do it at all. All I'm going to do now is just tone her all throughout. So after I brush out her teasy light, I went through and I just shampooed her with K18's Detox Shampoo just to get rid of all of that product buildup from the conditioner from brushing her out, and also to fully remove all of the lightener from her hair as well. And then I applied the Molecular Repair Mask from K18. And the reason why I did the mask instead of the mist is because of artist preference. I prefer the way that the mask feels on the hair with the toner versus doing it with the mist. You could do either or, totally up to you. It's artist preference. All right, so here's her gloss. I did a mix of different shades EQ colors. So I did mostly of, like, I would say probably 60% of her formula is 9AA, so the papaya shade. And then I added some, the new honeycomb shades, the 9HC. I did some 8WG, a dash of 8C, a dash of 9CR, and a dash of the 8GG. And I added quite a bit of the 8WG as well, just to get that really good balance. I'm a person, when I'm doing redheads, I'm using at least 4 different shades because there is no shade for reds that is perfect with just one color. You have to get those custom colors that you're seeing, mix multiple different shades together. And it really boils down to understanding your color theory. And for the apricots, it requires a lot of warm gold tones with the lighter coppers. So I'm going to go through and I apply this. I mixed it 1-to-1 with my liquid developer. Just the normal processing solution. And the reason why I'm using Shades EQ for her is because they have such a great wide range of different red tones. Normally I use a lot of Joico for my glazing and my glossing, but I felt like their reds are more violet based versus orange based. So that's why I decided to go with the Shades EQ. Both are great formulations. It just all depends is on your outcome, what you're picking for your client. Just make sure I take little sections and it's all evenly applied throughout the hair, evenly saturated. I like to get my hands in there, really make sure we got it going and emulsify it in. That's already looking so pretty. I especially want to make sure that those ends are fully saturated because we did tip them out. So they're going to be a little bit lighter. They're going to be a little bit more porous. That's okay. I just want to make sure they are fully saturated. And you can see, like, it's already doing its thing. It's looking gorgeous. All right. So we're going to let this process for probably about 15-ish minutes. I'm just going to clean up my station, and then I'm going to wash her with Damage Shield shampoo and then put the K18 molecular repair mask on top. And then I'm also going to use Coat to lock this color in for her. So after the shampoo, K18, let that sit for 4 minutes. I'm going to put on the coat, let that sit for 5 minutes. And that's just going to help restore the natural lipid barrier of the hair, keep her moisture in, and lock that color in. All right, so here she is, brushed out. I am so happy with how this is already blending and it's wet. So I'm gonna do my signature butterfly haircut on her that I already have a tutorial out on, and then she's gonna leave wet because I physically cannot blow dry all of this hair anymore, but it's my sister, so it's okay, and I'm gonna get her after when we get home.
What do you think, Kai? Did we nail it?